The following video is not made for kids. Viewer discretion is advised. Hello to my subscribers, this is the TFangy coming to you with hopefully a quick and successful review. And tonight we're going to be taking a look at one of the Hasbro Pulse exclusive Transformers. It is Transformers Legacy Evolution Deluxe Class Armada Series Powerlinx Hot Shot with Mini-Con Jolt. So yes, this is Hot Shot based on his final appearance in Transformers Armada. Long story short, during the final 10 episodes of Transformers Armada, it was actually 8, but some fans get it mixed up easily. But essentially, during the last batch of episodes of Transformers Armada, Hot Shot was one of 5 Transformers characters from the Armada series who ended up fighting against Nemesis Prime, and Nemesis Prime kicked everyone's chassis. And so, Hot Shot, who was on the verge of dying, was saved by his Mini-Con partner Jolt, who gave him a power boost, so to speak, and restored his body parts that were damaged. And the result was that Hot Shot took on an entirely new paint job, and that was a trend Hasbro and Takara thought was gonna apparently work for a good while, because the first 3 Transformers cartoon shows released in the 21st century, Car, Robots, Armada, and Energon, followed that formula where characters introduced at the start of the show got involved in a battle where they were severely injured, and they were saved from dying by being given new paint jobs. And Megatron, when he was injured, he ended up taking on the name Galvatron. So yeah, that's what this figure is based off of. So, other Transformers characters who appear in the artwork of other Transformers characters boxes. It's typically an Easter egg preview for a figure that's coming out sometime in the near future. And Powerlinx Hot Shot on his box art, right here on the top, that is the Transformers Armada version of Thrust standing up there. And instead of being based directly off the original Thrust figure, it is based off the Earthrise Seeker mold. So, this could be a possible Easter egg to a Voyager class figure of Armada Thrust being released possibly next year in 2024. We'll see, but for now, that is a nice Easter egg there. And just about every on the box art of Transformers characters, if there's another character that appears on the box art, eventually that character will also be given an action figure. So here's hoping Armada Thrust isn't an exclusive like Powerlinx Hot Shot here, and he's instead released at mass retail. But yeah, here's the artwork of Hot Shot. You got Jolt in his helicopter mode. You got the Legacy Evolution logo on this side of the box. You got half of the poster image for Legacy Evolution. Going on here to the top of the box, you've got 2 Transformer logos. You've got the Legacy Evolution logo, and you've got the Transformers Armada logo. So this is what the Transformers logo looked like back in 2002 when Transformers Armada was unleashed. And this is what it looks like in 2023. At the time of this video's recording, there's still a couple of days left in the year 2023. So it's amazing how much the Transformers logo has, pun intended, transformed over the last 20 years. So that's a really nice side-by-side comparison of those 2 different Transformers logos there. Going on here on this side of the box, it's upside down, flip it upright. Here is the enlarged version of the Transformers Armada logo. And Transformers Armada was the series that introduced me to Transformers, so I really have a huge bias in that I've always enjoyed the Transformers Armada logo. I love how the word Armada looks like it's inside a fuel tank that connects the letter T and the letter S as at opposite ends of the logo together, so that's a really neat logo choice there. But I love how here on the top of Powerlinx Hot Shot's box, you get a side-by-side comparison logo, a difference between Transformers Armada and Transformers Legacy Evolution. So really nice to see those there. Coming on here to the back of the box, you've got your product photos. You've got Hot Shot in his robot mode and in his alt mode of a sports car. He transforms back and forth between both modes in 21 steps. And you've got some pictures of Jolt. He transforms back and forth between robot mode and helicopter mode in 8 steps. And along with Jolt, you also get in this box set, in addition to coming with the same laser gun that the regular Legacy Evolution Armada Hot Shot figure came with, which transforms into the engine block, you've got 2 large gray cannons, and you've got some blast effects pieces. And this is where the make it or break it deal with Powerlinx Hot Shot comes into play because the retail price for this Transformers figure is $40, if I remember correctly, when it was originally unleashed on Hasbro Pulse. And with deluxe class figures costing roughly $25 each, that means Jolt, along with the blast effects pieces and the two new gray laser guns that you get with Hot Shot, all the new accessory pieces have a retail price of roughly $15 altogether. So that means Jolt is approximately $5. The two gray cannons are $5, and the blast effects are $5 if it's divided. If the price is divided evenly amongst everything, and in the minds of many Transformers fans and collectors, the laser guns and the blast effects, along with Jolt, is not worth $15. It's worth less than that. So that's been the main make it or break it deal with this Transformers with Powerlinx Hot Shot. Hot Shot is the price tag. Again, many Transformers fans' minds, it's not worth it, especially considering this is a Hasbro Pulse exclusive figure officially. And one of the selling points of this set is the brand new Jolt Mini-Con figure. Because the Transformers Armada action figures that were released prior to Legacy Evolution Powerlinx Hot Shot did not have any Mini-Cons. And it was thought that Hasbro and Tomy weren't going to bring the Mini-Cons back, and we weren't going to get any modern day figures of them. But with the release of Jolt here with Powerlinx Hot Shot, that was incorrect. Hasbro and Tomy, they do have the means of designing new modern Mini-Con figures, but so far we have only gotten counting Jolt here, 2 Transformers Armada Mini-Cons. The other one, apart from Jolt, is Decepticon Whisper, who is sold in the Shatterglass Rodimus Prime vs. Sideswipe box set, which was also a Hasbro Pulse release just like this one. So far, the only Mini-Cons that we've gotten have been released exclusively through Hasbro Pulse. Also, it's unknown at this point if we're going to get any more Mini-Cons from Transformers Armada, but I personally wouldn't mind if we at least got the Mini-Con partners for Optimus Prime and Megatron on. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the box itself. So without further delay, let's get both Hot Shot and Jolt out of the box and take a close look at the both of them. Alright, so before we take a look at Hot Shot himself, here's all of the accessory pieces that were wrapped up in a piece of paper, including Jolt. And there's quite a bit, so let's go through them all a bit at a time. So for the blast effects here putting them all together. The blast effects aren't new. They are red versions of the blast effects that were originally released with Siege Commander class Jetfire, and they're now red instead of orange. These blast effects have been released with a lot of larger sized and exclusive Transformers figures. But yeah, the blast effects themselves, they aren't really much anything new, so they aren't that. The only thing that makes them special is the color of rubbery plastic on them. And then you've got these two laser guns here. I thought they were just 2 copies of the exact same laser gun, but they are different sizes. I don't think you are able to combine them with each other, but they are interesting. So they both have these bright orange handles you can flip out, but on this one, the handles shoved really far in there and fresh out of the box. It's a bit of a pain to get loose. Unfortunately, there aren't really any tabs to help you pull it out. Okay, so I'm going to just leave that in there for time's sake. But yeah, you can flip that out, and then you've got like this like larger laser gun, and then you've got this smaller laser gun here. I don't think that they are actually capable of combining with each other, because even on the box with the Evo Fusion gimmick, it just shows you having a Hot Shot holding Jolt in his hands. But yeah, there's the two new laser guns. And moving on to the selling point of this box set, especially if you already have the original Legacy Evolution Deluxe Class Hot Shot figure. Here we have the new modern figure of Hot Shot's Mini-Con partner, Mini-Con Jolt. So yes, in the Transformers Armada series, the Mini-Cons were a separate faction of Transformers that were neither Autobots nor Decepticons. They were their own entirely brand new separate faction of Transformers, and the Mini-Cons, in my opinion, were a very cool uh, gimmick that in my opinion, made Transformers Armada successful. So I think it is a bit of a shame that so far we've only gotten two modern Mini-Con figures that have both been released as Hasbro Pulse exclusives. But yeah, I really enjoy how well Jolt turned out, and So an interesting bit of trivia with Jolt is that in the Transformers Armada cartoon, he was orange, just like his new Legacy Evolution figure. However, for his original Transformers Armada Mini-Con figures, the original version of Hot Shot, which was almost entirely yellow, and it had a paint job similar to Generation 1 Bumblebee. The Jolt action figure that the original yellow Armada Hot Shot figure came packaged with, Jolt's was primarily red to match up Hot Shot's robot mode torso. And so the idea was that Jolt being red and Hot Shot being yellow is that having red and yellow standing opposite to each other, Jolt had an almost had a paint job that was matched up basically the secondary paint job Hotshot had of his robot mode torso and thighs being red as well. And then after Hotshot went through the Powerlinx upgrade, and he got his Powerlinx paint job, which is based off of I don't know if you could see it on the back of the box before, but Powerlinx Hotshot, when he gets the Powerlinx upgrade, Hotshot's paint job ends up being similar to Generation 1 Hot Rod, where he's almost entirely red, but he's got yellow flame aim decos on his hood, and he's got the yellow bump spoiler on the back still. But Hotshot's color scheme almost inverts, whereas he originally started off as a mostly yellow robot with a red torso and thighs. When he gets the Powerlinx upgrade, his paint job is almost inverted. He's almost entirely red now, but his torso is now yellow. The main difference is that his yellow spoiler on his shoulders remains yellow, and his hips and his pelvis are now black. So it's not quite an inverted paint job, but that's what Hasbro and Takara Tomy were going for with trying to visually show that Hot Shot was a mashup of both Generation 1 Bumblebee and Generation 1 Hot Rod. So they showed that by originally giving him Bumblebee's paint job and then having him upgrade into Hot Rod's paint job. So I don't know. So you could get into a whole entirely different discussion about whether or not Hot Rod is an upgrade to Bumblebee or not, but you get the idea. And with Jolt here, when Hotshot underwent the Powerlinx upgrade, Jolt's action figure went from being mostly red to mostly yellow. So the idea is that Hotshot and Jolt switched paint jobs and were inverted from each other, other having yellow and red being the inverted colors. So the new Legacy Evolution Jolt Mini-Con figure being done in cartoon accurate orange. Unfortunately, it's a sign that we most likely aren't going to get two different action figures of Jolt like we got with the original Transformers Armada line, where there was both a red version of Jolt and a yellow version of Jolt to match up both the regular release and the Powerlinx repainted release of Hot Shot. So yeah, I personally think that Jolt's mostly orange cartoon accurate paint job, it's a sign that he's not going to be given a Powerlinx figure where he's yellow, and he probably won't be given almost entirely red action figure that matches up his original Armada action figure, but more or less, this is a pretty fantastic action figure of Jolt. He's got quite a lot of articulation, ball jointed shoulders, hinged elbows, no head swivel, but ball jointed hips, swivel jointed knees, so he's got a fairly decent amount of articulation. Some of the joints are somewhat reminiscent of his original Transformers Armada action figure, but one of the main differences is that the original Transformers Armada Jolt action figure, you couldn't really spread his legs out too far. Not unlike his new figure where you can actually do a splits. It's the original figure was unable to do that due to how the transformation joints were held. And Jolt, although in his original Armada figures, his arms were just one solid sculpted piece. So for the new figure to have working elbow joints, that's a really nice touch for that to happen. But yeah, there is Legacy Evolution Armada Mini-Con Jolt in his robot mode, and I gotta say he's really impressive looking. Getting him transformed back into helicopter mode. Uh, as far as becoming a weapon that Hot Shot could use in the original Armada cartoon show, the Mini-Cons themselves were weapons, and they didn't have to transform into them. All they had to do was attach themselves to the bodies of larger Transformers action figures, and they could become instant weapons. But here on the new Legacy Evolution Jolt figure, he's got a flip down 5mm peg egg. So if you're a desire, going by what's the photos on the back of the box, if you want, you can attach Jolt to any 5mm eater port. And for Hot Shot here, Jolt can now be a laser gun if you want, but it's a bit of a stretch of the imagination because essentially having Jolt being held by Hot Shot like this, unfortunately, it's just Hot Shot holding a helicopter. So you could make the joke that it's just Hot Shot holding a toy helicopter in his hand. But yeah, that is Jolt. He's a really impressive Mini-Con, and I really hope that Jolt opens the Pandora's box for all the Mini-Cons from Transformers Armada being given modern day figures with new updated articulation. So now let's move on to the main figure of this box set, which is the Powerlinx Hot Shot action figure. And so here he is in all his splendor and glory. Again, his paint job compared to the original mostly yellow version of Hot Shot. Now that he's mostly red, his paint job is supposed to be, and I emphasize those words, supposed to be an inverted paint job of what he originally started off as, but it's not entirely inverted. But yeah, there's Powerlinx Hot Shot next to the original Legacy Evolution Armada Hot Shot figure. I do have the original Powerlinx Hot Shot figure that was released back in 2003. Powerlinx Hot Shot was one of the first ever deluxe class Transformers figures. Actually, no, he was the very first ever deluxe class Transformers figure that I ever purchased. I apologize for not bringing the original Powerlinx Hot Shot figure out for a size comparison because he's on the top of a high shelf behind a bunch of other Transformers action figures. And the last time I transformed my old Powerlinx Hot Shot action figure, it felt like I was going to break him because the joints were starting to stiffen up. So I'm really glad that I was able to get this new modern day figure of it. Just like the original Legacy Evolution Hot Shot figure, he does come with the same engine block weapon. It's now done entirely in black paint, and oddly enough, just like the Hot Shot figures themselves, elves here on Hot Shot's silver engine block laser gun is actually cast in red plastic, just painted silver. And here on the Powerlinx version of Hot Shot, it's cast in yellow plastic, painted black. So yeah, the laser guns are cast in the secondary paint job of that both versions of Hot Shot come in. So I think that's really funny that they decided to do that. They could have just used the same red plastic they used here on Hot Shot's laser gun, but no, they went the extra mile and cast the laser gun for Powerlinx Hot Shot in yellow plastic. So the laser gun ended up going through the inversion of switching from yellow to red and red to yellow. LON Hot Shot and got his Powerlinx paint job, so that's a really nice touch there on Hasbro and Dakar Tommy's part. So moving the back bazooka cannon around. And again, as I said, at Powerlinx Hot Shot, the main reason his paint job is based off of Generation 1 Hot Rod is because it was primarily Hasbro's way of showing Transformers fans and collectors that Armada Hot Shot is a complete mashup of Generation 1 Bumblebee and Hot Rod. He has personality traits that were found in both those Transformers characters. With Bumblebee, he's kind of young and ambitious, and a little inexperienced compared to the other Autobots since he's just started off with them. And for Hot Rod, he does have leadership potential when he has a cool head, and when he knows how to analyze situations. And by the end of the series, Hot Shot did show potential Matrix Bearer leadership potential. At the end of the series, he had the potential of being a great Autobot leader. The Autobots even made Hot Shot leader when right before the Autobots left Earth after Optimus Prime was tragically killed. But yeah, pretty impressive paint job upgrade kit that Hot Shot was given after his defeat with Nemesis Prime. And one thing you can do if you want, although you have to work it around a bit, but you can if you want to attach both these Hot Shot figures at the legs. So there's what the windshield looks like, half red, half yellow. But yeah, really nice seeing these two guys standing beside each other. The goggles do flip down on the new Powerlinx Hot Shot figure, just like the original Legacy Evolution Hot Shot figure. So he does have the working visor. And one of the reasons why it's nice to see that here on this figure is that on the original Powerlinx Hot Shot figure, Hasbro and Dakar Tommy removed the flip down gimmick for Hot Shot's visor. So on the original Armada Powerlinx Hot Shot figure, or Rod Shot as I sometimes call it, the visor was stationary and it was permanently stuck on the top of Hot Shot's head. And so it's not. And so technically, the Powerlinx Hot Shot figure, the original one, wasn't a fully straight up repaint of the original Armada Hot Shot figure because it did have the one new sculpted part of the visor being unable to flip down and be permanently stuck on the top of Hot Shot's head. But yes, overall, I'm really enjoying how well the new Legacy Evolution figure turned out. It's rumored that one of the figures being released in the Legacy United line is going to be Armada Galvatron, and unlike Powerlinx Hot Shot, Galvatron will be a figure released at mass retail. So here's hoping that we eventually get a modern day figure of Transformers Armada Red Alert, and here's hoping that the Legacy Gear 1 Voyager class Armada Starscream figure gets repainted into Thundercracker. We could also use a new figure of the Armada Demolisher, but I really would love to be able to reenact the scene in the Transformers Armada cartoon when the 5 Transformers who fight Nemesis Prime, I'm Nemesis Prime kicks their butts, and they're brought back to life with new paint jobs, and that's my all-time favorite scene in Transformers Armada. Not only do Hot Shot and 4 other Transformers characters get new paint jobs, but Nemesis Prime proved himself in the short time he was on screen, which was during just one solitary episode. He proved that he was a ruthless, destructive machine of war. He was really imposing in his one single episode appearance. Be right back. Sorry for that brief pause. I finally reached in and got that port flipped out. So, I apologize if my voice keeps breaking up, but I'm such a huge fanboy of Transformers Armada since it's the series that introduced me to the Transformers franchise that I there's a lot of stuff that I want to say, but I'm just so fanboying finally having an updated figure to Powerlinx Hot Shot that I can't control myself and I keep babbling on. And so, bringing back Jolt, and letting Powerlinx Hot Shot hold him, I attached the new laser guns to his back bazooka. So here's Powerlinx Hot Shot with all of his accessory pieces attached. Um, you can, if you want, you can use the 5mm port here on Jolt. Oh, he also has a 5mm peg. Again, the peg is actually what I was talking about, but if you wanted to, unfortunately, you can't attach Jolt to Hotshot to the 5mm port on Hotshot's back. And again, I think it's a shame that you can't because if Hasbro and Tomy had designed a way of Jolt hanging off of Hotshot's back just like this, that would be accurate to how Jolt attached to the original Armada Hot Shot action figure. But regardless, I can't fault Hasbro and Tomy for successfully designing a brand new action figure of Jolt. No, the only major gripe I have is that because we finally got a modern day action figure of Jolt, why doesn't Hasbro and Tomy make modern day figures of all the other Mini-Cons? But that's just a minor nit. But that's less of a gripe and more of a nitpick. But for one last size comparison, here is Powerlinx Hot Shot with the original Armada Hot Shot. So I've always loved how, after finding out about Bumblebee and Hot Rod, how Hasbro and Tomy made a Hot Shot switch from Bumblebee's paint job to Hot Rod's, as I've just always enjoyed that. And then of course you can take the blast effects. So let me just attach those temporarily here. Here. So this is a mass retail Transformer, and this is a Hasbro Pulse exclusive. So, like I said, you do get more bang for your buck, but then you have to pay more bucks to get this bigger bang. And so it's not really for all Transformers fans and collectors, but make no mistake, I wholeheartedly enjoy having this figure, and I do not regret getting it. So let's hurry up. I've already babbled on too much, so let's get Powerlinx Hot Shot transformed into his alt mode, and we'll wrap up the review. Alright, and so here is Powerlinx Hot Shot transformed into his alt mode. It's the same sports car as the original Armada Hot Shot figure. The only difference is that it's now entirely red, and it has the yellow flame paint job, which makes him look like Generation 1 Hot Rod instead of Generation 1 Bumblebee. One thing that I wish they would have done is that here on the product photos on the back of the box, it shows that Hot Shot's hubcaps were originally supposed to be painted silver, just like his original Powerlinx Hot Shot figure, but once again, just like the regular Legacy Evolution Hot Shot figure, his hubcaps are unpainted, painted black plastic, so I really wish that they would have done that on the box, kept that paint app. I enjoy Transformers figures with painted wheels a lot more than I do ones that are unpainted. But yeah, there's Powerlinx Hot Shot once again with the original Hot Shot figure, at least the Legacy Evolution version. And then one thing you can do is that you can combine Jolt just like the original Armada action figure. The only difference is that you have to flip down Jolt's arms. I actually, looking back on it, I think you did have to do that with the original Jolt action figure, but if you want, you can attach Jolt here to the back of Hot Shot. Here it is on the original yellow Hot Shot figure, and then it's a bit of a stretch of the imagination, but when you attach Jolt, one thing that Hot Shot had on the bottom of his robot mode feet was he had these chainsaws sculpted onto the bottom of his feet. So when you attach Jolt, you basically gave Hot Shot a flying a chainsaw car R mode. So that was a pretty Mad Max style flying car vehicle there. But yeah, it's a bit of a stretch of the imagination having a helicopter the size of a model be able to lift an entire car off the ground. But Jolt did help Hot Shot fly high in some of the Transformers Armada comic books, so that was really nice there. So there's Jolt attached to the original Evolution Hot Shot. And here he is attached to Powerlinx Hot Shot. So it's amazing how the solitary orange figure, how the different shades of plastic used on both versions of Hot Shot, how it makes kind of an optical illusion of Jolt being slightly different shades of orange, but attaching the accessory pieces again according to the instruction sheet and the photos on the back of the box. The best weapon storage for the laser guns is just attaching them here to the sides of Powerlinx Hot Shot. And while that is an option that you can do, another thing you can do is you can attach them to the. You can at least attach one onto his back wheel. You can't do it on the other side, but you can have it as an exhaust pipe if you want. But yeah, unfortunately, I think the new laser guns were a bit of an unnecessary inclusion. And while the blast effects are nice, they are things that I don't necessarily think I'll be attaching or using anytime soon. So as I accidentally pop off Jolt. Overall, I think this is a nice set, and I hope Jolt isn't the only Mini-Con that gets a modern day figure. I hope we eventually get figures of all the Mini-Cons in the Transformers generation / legacy line. And so for the proverbial question of the review, do I recommend getting the Transformers Legacy Evolution Armada Powerlinx Hot Shot figure and adding it to your Transformers collection? Well, here's the thing. I only recommend you get this figure if you're a die-hard Transformers Armada fan like I am, or if you want to go completist on the Legacy Evolution line. But if you're not, but if you have the original Legacy Evolution yellow Armada Hot Shot figure, and you don't necessarily think that it's worth double dipping into this mold for the version that's done in G1 Hot Rod's paint job, then this figure can be an easy pass. Again, the selling point of this whole box set is the inclusion of Hot Shot's Mini-Con partner Jolt. But for the price tag you pay of $40, getting this set primarily for the purpose of Jolt, paying that amount of money, I don't think it's really worth it. So, essentially, in my opinion, Powerlinx Hot Shot, he's not one of the must-have figures of the Transformers Legacy Evolution line, but Hasbro did do a good job of making him feel like being one of the must-have Transformers figures due to Jolt's inclusion with him. But as far as my own personal recommendation for this figure, again, I only recommend you get it if you're a die-hard fan of both Transformers Armada, the Mini-Cons, and Hot Shot in general. If you're only a fan of any one or two of those things, not all three of them, or if you're not a fan of any three of them, then this figure can be an easy pass, being a Hasbro Pulse exclusive. But I do recommend getting it if you're a fan of Transformers Armada. So this has been my review of Transformers Hasbro Pulse exclusive Transformers Legacy Evolution Powerlinx Hot Shot. I highly recommend you get this figure if you're a Transformers Armada fan. If not, then it can be an easy pass, and there are more exciting Transformers figures that have been released in Legacy Evolution and coming up in Transformers Legacy United. The accessory pieces, in my opinion, they don't really justify the price tag that this figure goes for, which is $40. But overall, I personally don't regret getting Powerlinx Hot Shot and adding it to my Transformers collection. So thank you guys all so much for watching, and until next time, you guys, stay safe, stay healthy, transform and roll out. Goodbye, everyone.